footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm here alongside the Czar of the Playbook, Emery Hunt, and I'm Tyler Merkovich, bringing you our 2010 season preview for the Indianapolis Colts. Of course, the season ended in disappointment in Miami, a loss to the Saints as a big favorite in that game. 14 wins. They shut it down at Week 15 at Buffalo. They lost their 2 games. Bill Polian, a lot of controversy, but this offseason he blamed the offensive line and the special teams for the Super Bowl loss. And you know, they wanted to get bigger up front, so that's what they did. Peyton Manning, an amazing 131-61 regular season record. The big change here is Clyde Christensen. He's going to take over for Tom Moore, and for Manning's whole career, Moore was the offensive coordinator, but Manning is the offensive coordinator of that team, so exactly. Not a big deal. 32nd rush offense. Will Donald Brown step up? He had a pretty good, I thought he had a better rookie year, but this is his second year. He's coming into, this is no more baby time for him. Joseph Adai also. Will that running back tandem be good again?
Yeah, if Donald Brown is healthy, he should be the starter. He's better than Adai, lights out. So Donald Brown is a total package, pass blocking, catching the ball out of the backfield, and he can run with some power and purpose. He's not scared. And it doesn't, you know, it's like Jamie Dukes like to say, little pat. Doesn't like to, you know, pit-a-pat his feet behind the line of scrimmage. Downhill runner, but also has speed to take a distance. So Donald Brown should be the starter. And keep an eye on Mike Hart. He should warrant more carries too. Mike Hart is a guy that I like a lot. Out of Michigan, an underrated guy. Get more carries to Mike Hart. He runs with some toughness. He runs with purpose, and he can also catch the football out of the backfield. The quarterback spot you mentioned, Peyton Manning, that goes without question. So the real question mark at quarterback is the backup quarterback. Curtis Painter versus Tim Hiller, a rookie out of West Michigan, a guy with a live arm that can throw the football downfield. He has to work on his accuracy, but I like Hiller a lot better than I like Painter.
We'll talk about that offensive line that will be blocking for these guys. Andy Alleman from KC, they bring him in as Ryan Lilja moves down to Kansas City, so there's a swap. Mike Pollock, second year out of Arizona State, will battle Kyle Devan for right guard, which should be good. And of course, Ryan DM, underrated right tackle, Charlie Johnson, underrated left tackle, and Jeff Saturday anchors that pretty good offensive line. Tony Hugo has been a disappointment. He's still a backup, so it's coming around, but they really need to rush the ball better behind that O-line. And wide receiver, Reggie Wayne, of course, Dallas Clark, but Pierre Garçon. I know he had a couple of drops in the Super Bowl, but he's a young guy, and he's just a beast. He's physically built. He could go long, he could take it short. They're going to get Anthony Gonzalez back, of course, and of course Austin Collie showed up also in his rookie year. So Manning really got the weapons. What do you think about the offensive line moves? All these guys were late round draft picks or free agents, and they're still pretty good.
Well, Pollock has to play well. The guard out there, he has to play well. That's number one. I also like the fact they brought in new free agents, Adam Terry at tackle and Andy Alleman at guard. So they brought in these 2 new guys beefed up to help out that run game. So that's important. And you look at Charlie Johnson, he's going to play. He played well after they moved him to left tackle, so that's a big key right there. So you look at him to improve this year, and the wide receivers are very, very solid group. They're pretty much interchangeable outside of Reggie Wayne. He's a star, but also keep an eye on undrafted rookie Blair White, another guy from Michigan State that reminds me a lot of Gonzalez, reminds me a lot of Garçon, reminds me a lot of all those wide receivers that they have, because he can catch the football, he runs good routes, he's solid. You know, Gonzalez to me is the guy you have to question about, because he has to stay healthy, because he's been hurt. You know, so that's why these other guys step up, and I like Blair White a lot out of Michigan State. Keep an eye on him.
Well, you're playing with Peyton Manning, so I mean, he could turn Blair White into something else.
Right.
But defensive side of the ball, Larry Coyer takes over in his second year. Pretty good last year, but not the best. 24th rush defense, 8th scoring defense, which is key. 19 points per game they gave up, 15 interceptions. Their secondary was banged up, but of course it was young and it still played pretty good. Dan Muir, Antonio Johnson, Eric Foster, defensive tackles. Freeney, of course, broke down late. That hurt Mathis, because Robert Mathis likes to play when Freeney's there. That's why they wasted their first round. I shouldn't say wasted. They drafted Jerry Hughes out of TCU for more depth. This guy is really, he's still growing, I think, as a player, and he could really fit good, especially across from Freeney.
Yeah, bringing in Hughes was tremendous. Like I said, TCU is the college version of the Baltimore Ravens. So you get anybody off that defense, you're going to do fine. Hughes is a guy that should have went higher. You know, when you have pass rushing ability, he's going to be fine. But I like the fact that Moala provides good depth, and Antonio Johnson.
Yeah, at USC last year they drafted Moala.
Did exceptionally well, so he provides good depth. And you also look at Antonio Johnson, another guy that's very, very solid at D tackle. So they're fine on D line, especially bringing in Hughes, going to be versatile. You look at their linebackers, the depth was a problem last year. They filled that with Angera, and it's funny because when they draft guys, they mirror each other. Angera is like Brackett. You also look at Cavell Connors, like Clint Sessions. So these guys mirror each other. So that way, if they lose any one of those starters, you replace them with a guy that can play. Angera is a guy that reminds me a lot of Brackett. Aggressive Iowa linebacker across the field.
I was going to mention they're so underrated. Brackett and Sessions and Philip Wheeler, strong side linebacker. Pat Angera will back them up, second year out of Iowa. Let's move over to the secondary. Kelvin Hayden and Gerard Powers out of Auburn. They're slated to start. Powers is a rookie last year. He was thrown into the fire, and Coach Caldwell calls them riverboat gamblers because they want to make plays, which is pretty good. It's pretty aggressive. Of course, backups Jacob Lacey, another rookie out of Oklahoma State. He had a lot of time last year. Also, they drafted Kevin Thomas, 3rd round out of USC, and of course, Bob Sanders injured last year again, but he is back. This might be the last year for the strong safety. Free safety Antoine Bethea, we both like. He's pretty good, not great. And Melvin Bullitt, of course, got so much time with Sanders out these last couple of years that he's going to be a valuable backup.
Right, he's now solid, so that's because you only can count on Bob Sanders for 4 games out of the year. Now, you don't know which 4, but you know you're going to get 4 out of him this season. But health is important for the secondary. If they can be healthy, this is going to be a tremendous defense, especially pass defense, so they have to maintain their health. When Bob Sanders is back there, it's a completely different team. And also keep an eye on undrafted rookie Brandon King out of Purdue, a guy that could be a solid playmaker for the Colts. And everybody else is solid. Lacey was a huge surprise. Played exceptionally well, made a lot of plays, but they need everyone back there in that backboard to be healthy. That is important. If everybody is healthy, the Colts secondary is going to be swell. But they is solid, and Bullitt is also solid.
Depth is always a problem. I mean, you're going to get like 2 or 3 guys playing really, really well, but like the 4th and 5th guy, if they have to move up to the 2nd and 3rd spot. But they managed well last year with Powers and Lacey, and Hayden really coming into his own also with those 2 safeties back there were very good. Special teams, Adam Vinatieri injured last year. Punter Pat McAfee, pretty good. Kick returner slated to start is Sam Gajere. They were 28 in punt returns, only 5.2 average, but they drafted a cornerback / specialist out of Indiana. That's Ray Fisher, and they really want to give him the reins to the return game.
But you also want to keep an eye on another undrafted guy that has a legitimate shot to make the squad.
Even the undrafted agents.
They're picking up what they made some good selections. Brandon James out of Florida, speedy guy, a guy that can return anything for a touchdown. So you get him back there. So I think he has a legitimate shot to make it. He's going to surprise a lot of people in the preseason. He's going to return guaranteed 1 kick or punt for a touchdown. Keep an eye on Brandon James. The coach are fine. It's tough when you pick at the end of the 1st round each and every year, but they do a great job of stockpiling talent, especially getting undrafted gems to step up and play, because it's that culture they have out there in Indianapolis.
Oh yeah, the model of consistency. Peyton Manning going down as the greatest quarterback of all time in my book.
Because he's from New Orleans.
It will be interesting to see how Indianapolis, can they stay consistent. It's unbelievable how they win 12 games minimum every year. For more, visit footballgameplan.com/NFL or check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/footballgameplan.